All right, everybody. Welcome into the Hoops Rehab Show on a jam-packed show tonight. NBA trade deadline is over, and Giannis has not moved. How you doing, Eric?
Giannis has not left the building. He is staying put, at least for a couple months, but doing pretty good. How's everything with you?
Everything's good, man. Obviously we got the L behind me, the
Yes, sir.
Lakers. They made a move, and we're going to get into it, but they didn't make any big moves, and that's something that we figured. But before we get into everything, let's do a little housekeeping. Follow us at the Hoops Rehab Show on YouTube. If you're watching this video right now on YouTube, hit that like button so you can follow all our content. And our Instagram is the Hoops Rehab Show. So we're posting videos, clips on there as well. So please follow that show as well. All right, Eric, let's get into the day. Obviously, there's a lot of drama going into the trade deadline, like always. But what were your thoughts going into it, and what were your thoughts kind of coming out of it?
Going into it, it's just you never know what type of deadline we're going to have. Sometimes it's jam-packed. Sometimes it's a little bit light. I thought that a lot of teams were going to be waiting on to see what happens with Giannis, and then the chips would fall. And maybe a little bit of that did happen once teams probably started realizing that a deal was not going to get done for him. On the other side, it was jam-packed, but with lack of a better word, a little bit of a strange deadline. And the reason it was strange to me is because there wasn't a lot of deals that helped teams today. There was a lot of deals that hopefully will help teams in the future. And that was interesting to me because typically it's what deals can we find? And there were a couple of them, but what kind of deals can we find to help our team during this stretch run into the playoffs? So that's kind of what I saw. What about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I was saying this before when we had Ryan Ward on, Lakers reporter, that this has got to be like the first trade deadline where it's like you got major stars that are all injured.
Yes.
And they're trying to get traded, right? You had Giannis, Anthony Davis, Trae Young, and Ja Morant, right? Ja Morant is injured. He's not playing right now. Jaren Jackson Jr. is not playing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Kristaps Porzingis is essentially up and down because of the pots that he's dealing with. So it's like you got these players going to other teams or potentially going to other teams, but might not play for a couple of weeks or might not play for a month. Or in the Washington Wizards case, they're likely not playing the rest of the year because there's nothing to play for and they need a draft pick. So I thought in general, this was super strange compared to previous years.
Yeah. I think exactly. That's the second thing is the amount of players that were traded that most likely won't suit up this year. And a big part of it is because there's kind of a consensus that this year's draft is pretty strong with the following two not being that strong. And so there could be an emphasis on getting as best a pick as possible this next draft. Obviously, the one that's 2 years away, I mean, we know how it works. Things can kind of change there, but that is what's being talked about, that this one coming up is deeper than the next two. So, yeah. And I think we're seeing evidence of that with some of the actions that were made with these trades.
Yeah, I mean, you got some good players coming out. Obviously, guy from BYU, kid from Kansas, Peterson, who's been all over every highlight the last week. And I'm telling you right now, I mean, he's either going to be the number one pick or he's either going to be a second pick. But I know the dude from BYU is pretty awesome, athletic, big guy, strong. But man, Darren Peterson is showing some elite level skill, shot making, and his ability to get to the rim as well. So I'm sure there's teams that are just ready to gobble up the draft picks in order to have a chance at those type of players. And Eric, I know we're just going to get into it right now, but you know that we're going to get into it at the end. But you know who had a really good trade deadline?
Who's that?
OKC.
Yeah, we're kind of chopping it up in the before the show. We didn't even bring that up at all.
It's not because of the trade they made, Eric. What happened? that's going to benefit them. James Harden was traded from the Clippers. Zubac was traded from the Clippers.
Yes, yeah.
Whose draft pick do they have this year?
They have the Clippers draft pick. Yep. In
So-
a deep draft, as I just said.
So if the Clippers likely won't be as good with having two of their star players and just having Kawhi, who we know who doesn't play all the time, likely they're going to be in the lottery, right? And if OKC gets another damn top pick, I mean, this league is pretty much over for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, especially when it's different when you have a top pick and you need that really to hit and them to be a star. But when you have a borderline lottery pick, maybe 12, 13, if you can pick up a really good role player, that's a perfect spot to get that. And so that's the luxury OKC has. They've like pulled a rabbit out of a hat, man. They obviously made the trade for SGA. They've hit on draft picks. They obviously have a great kind of system and organization with Sam Presti out there and his team. And so, the last team we want having some high draft picks is them. So at the beginning of the season, I was like, man, Clippers are terrible. And it's going to be probably even better pick than what it is now. They've been playing a lot better. They're in the play-in mix, but with these trades, I expect they're going to fall back into that lottery. And so pretty crazy, man.
Yeah. So, it was a different draft than we've had trade deadline that we've had in the past, being that the main star players are injured. But there were some moves that were made and some moves that weren't, right? And so I wanted to kind of start with just in general, Giannis obviously not being traded and kind of what kind of came out of Milwaukee and some of the stuff that we heard from Ramona Shelburne, heard from Shams. Just that Milwaukee was not necessarily going to trade Giannis. They were just getting a feeler for what people would offer. Then on top of it, did you see Giannis's tweet today?
Yeah, saw that.
Legends don't chase, they attract. With the 100 emoji and the little sunglass emoji. Then with a clip of Wolf of Wall Street with Leonardo talking about, what does he say? Here we go. Like, I'm not going anywhere, basically.
Yeah, I ain't effing going anywhere. I ain't effing going anywhere. So, what is that supposed to mean?
Eric, I've said before, I love Giannis. I think he's a great player, but I also think there's a flair for the drama. Dramatics. Something is always going on. Something with the coach. There's something with just in general. He wants to be the guy that's always liked. I understand that. And I understand he wants to be loyal to Milwaukee. But ain't nobody going to Milwaukee, Eric. Who's going to Milwaukee as a free agent? Nobody.
Yeah, I mean they did a decent job trying. I know, obviously trading for Damian Lillard a couple years ago, and one could argue that probably wasn't a great idea, but at that time, they tried and they did win a championship. So it's not like he's like in a hunt for his first chip. But yes, he does come with some of the drama. It feels like. And so another thing to think about too is he ready to be a number 2? If he goes to like a team that we would hope that he goes to, or right? I don't know.
That's Giannis? Another be a number 2.
Yeah. To a Luka.
Oh! If you caught me on the video right now, I mean,
yeah. Would he be at number 2 in that situation?
I mean, you can't call him a number 2, Eric.
And that's what you or is it 1A, 1B?
Hey, you can say 1A, 1B. You do not call. You can't call Giannis a number 2. Every single team that he goes to, he's the number 1.
Is he going to be all right? Not being
that. If he goes to OKC, obviously you have SGA, but who's always going to be in the top 3 for MVP? Top 3 to 5 at least every single year. Giannis is going to be there, right? Obviously, if he goes to like the Warriors, that's Steph's team. right? Like I understand that component, but Giannis is an A-level top player on every single team in this league, Eric.
Yeah, I feel like other than, well, let's see. I'm trying to think when you had like just maybe when the Warriors had Durant
KD.
and Steph, right? So that's like very 1A. Shaq and Kobe come to
Yeah.
mind. I mean, hell, maybe even Tatum and Brown.
LeBron and D-Wade?
Yeah, I'd have to put Braun there at the probably clear cut one, but obviously Wade just right under there. And so, and then who did I just say right now? Shaq and Kobe. Oh yeah, Brown and Tatum. So I guess, yeah. So there has been definitely that in terms of like in the history, and it's not like you have to sit there and decide who is the 1 and the 2, but it just kind of feels that way when you're going to a team that already has an obvious one. So, yeah, I mean, he didn't get traded. We thought it's weird because when you heard the rumblings, or we've heard rumblings for months now, but when you kind of heard officially that he wants to get traded, it was kind of like, yeah, it's going to be really tough for it to happen by the trade deadline. Sure. But then as the trade deadline got closer, you started to hear some ideas of Minnesota, New York, Golden State was a big one. And I don't know if it just was never really going to happen and it was just floated for us to kind of go crazy. But obviously Milwaukee decided that they didn't like the offers that they were getting, or they just had cold feet maybe to do this deal when they potentially can get just as much, if not more, in the summer. And so here we are. Well, what I will be interested to see, though, will Giannis allow to himself or the team to sit him? That's where I'm going to be kind of curious to see.
Yeah, because they're going to be trying to get a higher draft pick. I mean, there's no point to get the 10 seed and be in the play-in and all that stuff. And but like seeing Giannis and what he's always said is he's always going to want to play. So I can't see him necessarily sitting out. If he can play, he's going to play. My other thing about that is, was it Giannis getting cold feet or Milwaukee getting cold feet in this? What do you think it was? Because I feel like if Giannis really wanted out, he would have been like, let's take anything. Let's be out of here.
Yeah, I what I'm kind of thinking, maybe there's a kind of subtle sign of respect, from both sides. And Giannis kind of, maybe I'm overthinking it, or maybe I'm giving him too much credit, but maybe him thinking, I don't mind Milwaukee getting the most that they can for me.
Sure.
Now that wouldn't seem like it'd be the best bet, because like for somebody that's a winner, right? And I'm sure he wants to compete. Like he wants to go to his next place, you would think, and kind of compete this year. But I would say, I want to say probably Milwaukee is the one that got the cold feet, because they technically did not have to trade him, which they obviously didn't. They're going to see if somehow they can patch this up the next couple of months. They're going to see, again, if they can get some better offers in the summer. And it's rare. It's very rare. It's normally you get your best offer at the deadline because a team is going to have him for at least 2 playoff runs, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what's so interesting about this trade, is that it's so different in that with this new era of draft picks being way more of a significance than an actual player, that a guy that you draft, you hope he's as good as that player, but you still want the draft pick. It's just so strange, but it's just with the new salary cap rules, it's just kind of what it's come to. But I know I gave a long answer, but I feel Milwaukee was the one with the cold feet. What about yourself?
Yeah, and I also think they just know that they can get more in the summer.
Yeah.
Right. So they, like, for example, obviously we all know that Lakers will have 3 first-round picks in the summer.
Yeah.
Versus 1 that they have right now. So just in general, I think more teams will have more to play for. You can actually know where a team is in the lottery too, right? So it can be up into the draft where, hey, some team gets a pretty high pick and they're like, hey, I'd rather have that pick, that number 3 pick, and especially this year's draft. So I think it makes sense to wait, and there's nothing that they needed to do to rush it. Right. This is like a complicated thing because he's been there for, is it 12 years? I think 12 seasons.
I think so, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think he started when
Which
he
is
was like
great.
what, 19.
Crazy to think. Yeah.
So I think it is one of those things, and I feel that Giannis wants to do his best and be diplomatic and kind of be the player for Milwaukee. And I also think he's injured. Like, who wants to take a guy that's had 2 calf strains in 2 months? Like,
There's that
2.
too.
Like, he could come back to your team, and he's not going to be ready for about a month, probably. So you're getting Giannis in what, March, trying to like put him on a new team and to make a playoff run. That doesn't seem like realistic. So I honestly think it is. If I had to rank things, I would think like it's Milwaukee, because for the picks, right? You can get more in the summer. And then number 2 is just the fact that Giannis was injured. I think that it was a huge factor compared to if he was playing this whole time and he's ready to go.
I think that injury probably answers why Giannis wouldn't push to make a playoff run this year on a team, because he knows he's probably out. And he's got another payday coming up, and it doesn't matter how many paydays these guys have had. That's ultraly important.
Yeah.
Just obviously ask James Harden.
Yeah.
And so that injury is obviously semi-serious and a big reason why it nothing went down.
Yeah. We'll have to continue this obviously in the summer. I think going into the playoffs, and you'll start to hear some rumors of teams that will obviously be super aggressive with trying to get him this summer. So it's going to be very interesting if Milwaukee budges and allows him to finally be traded. So looking forward to it, kind of, in a way. But speaking of the Lakers made a move today. We always know, I think, has Rob made a move every year he's been a GM? I'm almost positive.
Yeah.
I mean, it might have been one year that he didn't make a move, but he's always done something, some sort of small type of trade.
Yeah, I think it probably feels like he hasn't made it because we just, as Laker fans, just go crazy. We're waiting for like the next, biggest thing. I think maybe the year after the D'Lo trade, like that season, I think maybe there wasn't anything, but
it might have been 1 year. Yeah.
Yeah. But for the most part, now some just like today's could be very much just, on the margins, but I guess he has made a trade for the most part.
Yeah.
Even if it's Mike Zubats for, who was it? Mike McCullough, what's his name?
Beasley was in that too, and Mike
right.
Musala.
Musala, yeah.
I mean, is that dude? I think he faded out of the league like right after that trade. So I mean,
it's kind of per usual sometimes with these Laker trades.
I can't believe we traded Zubac. And I think that was a lot to do with Magic. Remember, he was just like, Magic was making all these kind of wild trades at the time.
Got to get a shooter for LeBron, not
exactly.
That was probably one of the worst trades,
Yeah, in history.
Yeah.
So we did get a sharpshooter, and that is Luke Kennard, somebody that we've talked about over the years of getting a guy like this. I mean, Eric, he's a career 44% 3-point shooter.
Damn.
He's shooting 49.7% this year, right? I don't think he's had 1 year where he shot 39.9 and the other year he shot 39.4. He had a year in Memphis where he shot 54%, Eric. So the guy can shoot the 3. So we needed a shooter. We needed an upgrade for Gabe Vincent, and this is for sure an upgrade, right? You got to give credit for at least getting somebody that can actually sit on the wing and shoot the 3 when you got LeBron, Austin Reeves, and Luka being able to pass the ball to him, right? So appreciate that. Now, we didn't address shit on defense, Eric.
Yeah.
Not
athletic wing defense.
I mean, no disrespect, but we all know his job is not playing defense.
Yeah.
I enjoy the fact that we got a shooter, but we got no defenders, no wing defenders. We're going to have to play as a team and try to figure out a way to how to play defense. But honestly, Eric, I think they just might be going all in on scoring and say, F it. We know we can't. We don't have those players to play defense as well as we would normally want to, but we just got to outscore everybody. And I think that's what they're going to try to do.
It's seems like it, because they probably figure just with the assets they have, what they want to hold on to. I mean, I know Lakers were probably dangling these guys that had expiring contracts, and just obviously teams weren't biting. And so other than Gabe Vincent, and so yeah, this is a guy, Luka Doncic, somebody that we've been talking about for a while. I think, I kind of wanted him 4 or 5 years ago, and that seems to kind of happen sometimes with the Lake Show. And I mean, he's not a guy that's going to be in their last 5 minutes of a playoff game, right? I mean, let's just be real. He's just not there defensively for that. But throughout a game, he might be able to spark a run, right? He may be able to hit some shots to get back into a game, or increase a lead with bench players or bench mob that they have. And so, yeah, for a guy, for us to sit here, we've haven't talked about it too much, but we could use 3-point shooting, and for us to get a guy that's probably one of the better 3-point shooters. Can't say that it's a bad move, but we'll just see how effective it is. And yeah, all offense is obviously the way they're going. Yeah.
And obviously now it's the buyout market time, which, that's Eric's favorite time. Eric could probably go on a tangent here, but we usually get a pretty good player in the buyout, don't we, Eric?
I'm not going to take credit for it. I saw somewhere on Twitter, on X, I forgot who it was, but someone was like, the buyout market is such a like an overrated place, and it kind of got me thinking, like, it's. I mean, hey, we got like Marcus Smart, so that was pretty decent. But I was just thinking about like some of the guys like they've gotten in through the years at the break, on the buyout market, and I think the thought was they're there for a reason, right? And you can't expect a buyout market guy to take you from non-championship to championship contenders. They may be able to boost, like, kind of buffer things, and like a team like a Denver, OKC, if they pick up someone, it's like, hey, it's worth a shot. But it is an advantage as for the Lakers, because they're always going to be a player in the buyout market. They may not always land that player, but they are always going to be a factor, and it's just because of who they are. And so you got a lot of teams that would have no chance to get some of these guys. But yeah, it's going to be another one of those years of a couple guys, and there are some guys, of course, but I don't know. Do you see? I don't know if you have a list in front of you or anything like that, but I mean, do you see anybody that would like make a decent sized splash if they went with the Lakers?
Yeah, I mean, Lakers obviously have one roster spot available. They've kind of always kind of had that. So you're assuming they're going to sign by somebody for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Now, you're waiting to see if anybody gets released. I know somebody got released today, and that would be, again, a player that we would get to go all in on the scoring, which is Cam Thomas, which is
right.
Guy that averaged 24 points last year, 20 points the previous year, doesn't play a lick of defense, doesn't really pass the ball, but can score, right? So he can come in and get you 20 off the bench pretty easily. Now, if that's the way you want to go, I mean, I'm fine with going all in on the scoring, because I don't think they're going to get a defender that's going to be like you said, it's overrated, because if a guy's being released from a team, they don't want you.
Yeah.
Like you can't be that great that unless it's like, they're
in the trade, and
they got traded somewhere. They don't want to be somewhere, or they're on, they're a veteran and they're on the worst team right now, and they just want to negotiate a buyout so they can get out and try to have a chance for a championship. So there's times that happens. So if a player kind of opens up, great. But there's nobody I can think of right now that's out there that would kind of fit the bill.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think about like a Chris Middleton, Lonzo Ball? I mean, I think you're like, what is this, 2019 or what?
Chris Middleton?
Yeah, these are some of the guys. So Chris Middleton, Lonzo Ball. Those are the top candidates. Mike Conley. I don't want to see it. Imagine Mike Conley.
Okay, Eric. See, this is what I'm talking about. CP3, Mike Conley.
Yes.
Lonzo, I like Lonzo, but he's a shell of himself from the meniscus transplant. I love his size. I love his ability to pass,
defend,
and he used to be such a great defender too, right? So I just don't think that's not him anymore, right? So I can't see that happening. CP3 is too old. Mike Conley's too old. It's again, we need a wing defender. Possibly a 3-and-D, somebody that's 6'7", 6'8", and that's none of those guys right there, right? So, man, it's gonna be hard to come from, but I'm sure they'll find somebody out there that we're not thinking about, and that gets released at some point.
Yeah. What about like Haywood? What's his name? Highsmith.
Is he released?
He's injured, right? Or is he released? I think he looks like he was waived.
Yeah, somebody like that would be
waived.
a decent pickup. That's a guy from Miami, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Or was it the Nets? Or
he used to be on Miami. But...
Yeah, he was.
He's on Brooklyn. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was most recently on the Nets. Yeah, he was. I mean,
again, that's not somebody that's gonna win you a championship, I don't think. But
I don't think he's played this year, to be honest. To be honest with you. So yeah, see what I
okay. He hasn't played, Eric.
Yeah,
okay, we're not doing this. I'm assuming he's been under. I mean, why hasn't he played? I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, that's
it must be having some sort of injury that it wouldn't make any sense. But I think that Lakers just have to go all in on scoring. As we speak right now, they came back against Philly.
Meniscus surgery in August.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I figured. So he's probably out for most of the season.
Yeah, Austin Reeves got it in, man. I don't know if it's not over yet, but
33 and 23 minutes. Damn. Yeah. Austin Reeves is that guy. And that's another person I kind of wanted to talk about, actually, before we kind of move on to kind of giving some of these best and worst grades of the trade deadline. We grew up with Kobe, right? Homegrown, 20 years of Kobe. Austin Reeves is one of those guys that you just go, I don't want to give him up. Like, in a way, like I feel like he's grown with the Lakers. He's grown into this player. His game has evolved to a point where he's averaging 26 points this year, right? Yeah. Before he got injured.
Pretty crazy.
Playing super well with Luka. They have a rapport. And when you hear the likes of, should they get Giannis or should they go all in on Giannis, I would imagine that'd be a type of player that they would want back, right? It would have to be Austin Reeves with some picks.
Yeah.
And then you're left with Luka, Giannis, which is crazy. But then who are you going to have fill that roster? You're going to have a bunch of these Mike Conleys, CP3s, buyout market type of players.
Draft, young guy from the draft, right? And they're not going to have draft picks. So scratch that.
Yeah.
So I know it's something to really think about.
In my opinion, you got a young JJ Redick, you got a young Luka, you got a young Austin Reeves. You're going to have probably more than likely LeBron coming off the books, which will give you almost $60 million in cap room. I think if you could just fill out a roster of very, very quality players, like one of those guys maybe get like a $25 to $30 million contract, and then kind of fill out other guys as you go and fill it around Luka and Austin Reeves. I think that could potentially be a really good damn team, right? As we go. I don't know. That's what I'm kind of leaning towards. I feel like we got Luka already, and to do that again, but this time it would be probably gutting our best young player and draft picks, and then have nothing for the future. I don't know if I want to go that way. What do you say?
Yeah, it's kind of in the Lakers' nature to do business that way. To get the stars, right? It's just kind of what they do. But I don't know. We got a new era, right, of ownership, and obviously we have the same kind of folks there in the front office. But we'll have to see if the tides have turned with that. Are they going to value draft assets and also be it So if it's 3 picks going to the Bucks, it would be the 26th pick the year of this summer, and then 31 and 33. So obviously those are like way later. The 26, it's kind of a conundrum because you kind of want the best pick possible to be able to deal it, right? And so obviously Lakers are not in a tank mode or anything like that, but it is interesting to think that, right? The better that draft pick is, maybe it sweetens the pot. But yeah, I think you always want to go for this the juggler, right? If you can, because there's no guarantee you're going to be able to build around Reeves and Luka. But you're right; they're going to be depleted, and they're going to have to think of ways to find a third guy or build a team around them. And so it's not easy. I think they have to have a plan A, B, C, D. I think the Giannis thing, unless he tells them, I want to go to the Lakers, right? And now, most likely the Lakers are not going to be able to probably offer the better deal, if it's going to be around draft picks. Because sure, Lakers have more draft picks, but also will other teams, right? And so, yeah, it's I think we talked about it. We're just Laker fandom. They're going to be, it's going to be damned if you do, damned if you don't. And so just going to have to play it out, but we can't waste these Luka years either. Gotta get him hooked up with some guys.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's very true. We're obviously trying to win a championship. So I think he's a player that is part of a championship team. So, I mean, look at him tonight. He has 35 and 24 minutes right now. And I think that's a little statement like, hey, I heard my name a little bit, and I'm gonna show you who I am. Basically, I'm him. So
yeah,
I prefer to keep him. But
yep, and it's just crazy. No, yeah, absolutely. I would too. But it's just crazy that the LeBron, Luka, and Austin Reeves have like played like 8 games together. Yeah. And of course, like today, I know when you guys watch this, it's not, we're not live, but looks like Lakers are about to kind of pull out a victory against the Sixers. But yes, Luka got injured and is out. So it just goes to show, I think when they have those 3, it's a little bit of more of a challenge for Austin. But when there's one out, he goes to work.
Yeah, it's kind of hard when you're not all healthy together. It's been a struggle. We've had a struggle with that the last couple of years in general. So hopefully this Luka thing is not too bad. We're going to kind of touch on it at the end of the show. But before that, Eric, I wanted to kind of just get into the best and worst grades for teams, right? Like in general, like who had the best trades, who had the worst trades, and what our thought processes on that. So for me, if I wanted to start with best, honestly, because this year was so weird with the players that are injured and you had star players that are injured being traded, I feel like Washington Wizards got an A for me. They did the best thing they can do. They traded for Trae Young, which was kind of came out of nowhere, and gave up they didn't have to give up a first round pick for Trae Young, right? Yep. Which is wild to think that Trae Young went for no first round picks when Justin JJJ went for 3 first round, right? So that to me, that's weird. So that was a steal for them. And then you go and you give up 2 first round picks for AD, which I don't think was that bad in general, because you have to do something. Nobody's going to sign with the Wizards in free agency. AD would not sign there in free agency, right? So to be able to pair those two and still be able to keep Sar, still call a couple of these young athletic players that they have, I think that was to me that's that's a home run out of the park for the Wizards there.
Yeah, no, definitely. You can go just different routes with this. Obviously, when you look at these trades, you could think of the teams that are going to be helped like kind of more in the future and just an immediate need. I kind of like what very subtle trade with the Hornets did. They're actually playing excellent basketball right now. Yeah, won 8 straight. We saw the Lakers play them the other day, and they just ran them out the gym. Speaking of Lakers, that game is getting really close. Okay, well, now they're up 4, but with a few seconds left. So I like them trading for Kobe White. I think that was a player that we talked about right the other night. That could potentially be maybe somebody the Lakers could go after. So I like what they did there. And I think a surprise team in terms of like on Monday, or I guess Monday, yeah, like we would never thought the Clippers were going to be trading James Harden and Zubats, right? And here we are. I think Indiana picking up Zubats was nice to pair up with those guys in Indiana, obviously starting next year. So I did like that in terms of trades. And then, I mean, there were so many. I mean, James Harden, we'll see how that goes, but you can argue that was the probably one trade that was for like, hey, we're going for it this year. And let's get a guy that is just obviously an offensive machine and hope that he helps us, carry us through a Eastern Conference that's very winnable. So in a sense, I liked Cleveland very short term. What they did.
Yeah. No, that makes, as far as like contending teams, that was the only contending team that made a move that was significant. That was odd. Right? There's no other contending teams that, I mean, they added small pieces like Jerry McCain went to OKC, right? AO went to Minnesota. Those are good moves.
Yeah, that was a good move.
It's not over the top type of moves, right? So yeah, Cleveland definitely took a chance, and I think they're obviously trying to go all in when they know the Eastern Conference is pretty weak. So it's a smart move in their way. And we've seen over the last couple of years that the Garland, Mitchell, the small guard lineup with the two bigs, it's just not fitting right for them. So I think they're going to get a lot more out of James Harden than they would out of Garland.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's injured, and he's is obviously his toe and his other foot, and so that was probably going to go nowhere. And so they figured they get somebody that, I mean, we know James Harden is pretty. If there's a lot of things you could say about him, but one thing, he's pretty damn durable. And so that's something they, knock on wood, probably won't have to worry about. And so we'll see. I think it helped that Cleveland has actually been playing a lot better. They're climbing up the standings. They're now 4th in the East, and so they see it as like, hey, we can. Probably if we can get right, then we can probably make a finals run.
Yeah, for sure. For me, the worst team. Yeah. What the hell the Chicago Bulls doing, Eric? They traded for 4 guards.
Yeah, so
they already have Josh Giddey, right? And they had Kobe White. They traded for Jaden Ivey. They traded for Trey Jones, Anthony Simmons, Colin Sexton. Like I just don't understand the logic there. They essentially gave up Vucevic, right? So they gave up their center. They have no big guys on the roster whatsoever. You got Jalen Smith starting at center, and they continue to be a play-in team at 24 and 28. Like, this is a team that likely at least make the play-in, and you traded for all these guards. It just makes no sense to me. And like, I feel like they've been in mediocrity for so long that they just need to figure out how to just blow everything up and get as many draft picks. But I feel like they just don't even do that. So the Bulls are far behind in the NBA right now.
Yeah, they don't seem like they have like a direction. They've been, like as you mentioned, in the same spot for years now. I don't know how they were like top betting odds to land Giannis. I don't know where that came from.
Oh no.
Obviously Milwaukee to Chicago is like very close, so he wouldn't have to travel very far, I guess. But they were like, it's trying to make sense of it, where like, I understand they're probably like in no man's land. They're trying to get assets and things like that. But yeah, they're one team that needs to just kind of wrap it up and try to move on from all these players. But for me, I would say a team that kind of, and it's hard to say because they've obviously been pretty good for some time now, and they made a lot of good moves, and it feels like whatever they touch is gold. And I'm talking about the Warriors. We knew that Jonathan Kuminga, I mean, it was just a matter of time. I want to clap my hands. He finally got traded. Like, how long have we been hearing?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. How long have we been hearing, him potentially being traded? But I just think that the Warriors, with Jimmy Butler being injured, it was just kind of like hit the panic button. They have to do something. I think they were lining up to like hope to God that they can get Giannis. I think that was the play. And I think they held on and held on until they were like, shit, it's not going to happen. We got to get Kuminga out of here. I guess they're throwing Hield. And then, of course, they traded the kid, Action Jackson's son, right? What's his name? Trace Jackson Davis, right?
Trace Jackson, yep.
You know, I say Action Jackson. What do we used to call him? His dad?
Oh, he was on Dale. Wasn't that Dale Davis?
No. Oh, is that Dale Davis? Oh, you know what I was thinking of? Oh, I was thinking Jaren Jackson's dad. Sorry.
From San Antonio.
Yeah. What do we call him? Like back in the day, the assassin or something like that?
We used to call him the assassin.
The assassin.
He was just like the sharpshooter.
Yeah. Sorry. So Dale Davis' son, and then Jaren Jackson, who got traded too. So I got to throw the Warriors in there because I don't really. I mean, Porzingis. It says that he's a guy that they've been coveting. I mean, I don't know. It's just he can't stay on the floor, right? And so I think Warriors are in a tough place right now.
Oh, very tough place. I mean, they're pretty much in play-in territory with the aging Steph, with the aging Draymond. A torn ACL for Jimmy Butler. They're in a very dark place. And just how they handled the whole Kuminga situation, it goes to show you that they're still trying to hold on to this dynasty legacy that they've had, but they're a playing team. And they didn't want to go through having a young guy come up and play and kind of deal with him, and they kind of just threw him under the rug and got rid of him, which is fine because they needed to trade him because it's been way too much about like him being there, him not being there, restricted free agent, all that stuff. So I'm glad they traded him, but in general, I just think that they're not in a good place. And to me, they're not an attractive destination for Giannis. I mean, yes, playing with Steph, amazing. Playing with Steph, yes, it's great. But you're going to have to trade likely Jimmy Butler or Draymond to kind of get it done. And then so it's really just a 38-year-old Steph and a Giannis. I don't necessarily think that's a great team. Like, yes, they're 2-star players, but you still have to surround the team with a lot of people. And to do that with a more of an aging Steph Curry, I think is a little more difficult.
Yeah, I mean, because we talked about it would be tough with just Luka and Giannis, so even tougher with a 38-year-old Steph Curry. Yeah. And so you would imagine Milwaukee would want pods or something like that too, right? Would probably be pods and Draymond or pods and Jimmy Butler, just for matching salary perspective, or So, I just think they had a tough trade deadline. They obviously were doing something to do something, and they're kind of in that play-in territory.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so that kind of wraps up the trade deadline. We're going to kind of wrap up the show with some news, kind of some breaking news here. Obviously, you guys will see this on Friday, but Luka Doncic left the Lakers game at the end of the first half with an apparent, he started grabbing his left hamstring, but they are saying it's leg soreness, which is just really, we're not going to tell you what's going on just yet. But there was a video of him kind of before he went to the locker room where he kicks the scorer's table, grabs the back of his leg, looks extremely frustrated, kind of bent over, really upset. So the thing here is that likely he'll be getting some sort of imaging, which would be like an MRI to determine if there's a significant injury here. You're trying to determine if this was something that was just tightness, something felt like it was tight behind his leg, which would be your hamstring, or is it an actual strain? Luckily, the All-Star break is kind of coming up, so that gives you a little bit more time. But if it is a strain, you know how that goes, right? So if it's a grade 1, that's typically a 2-week type of injury. If there's grade 2, which is a partial tear, that's usually the 4 to 6 week kind of variety. So you're hoping that this is just like a day-to-day thing. It's more tightness, not really a strain. Worst case scenario, it's a low grade strain, and unfortunately he would probably be out for like 2 weeks. But Austin Reeves is just coming off a calf injury, calf strain, is out a month, right? So it's been difficult for the Lakers to kind of keep everybody healthy, like we talked about earlier. Like you said, they have not played all three together that much this season, and they're gonna need to do that before the playoffs. So, what you thinking, Eric?
Yeah, I mean, another soft tissue potential injury, which we have talked about at many levels, and so I think when you have the All-Star break coming, it is so tempting to really be cautious because they got 4 games left and then the break, and they play every other day till the break. So they play Saturday, I think Monday, actually not every other day, Saturday, Monday. Well, they have a back-to-back on Monday, Tuesday. Jeez, they have a back-to-back OKC and San Antonio at home, but damn. So they kind of stole tonight's win then, because that was a big one, because you lose this one, you can kind of see maybe a tailspin. So yes, it's tough. I mean, you see, I think Peyton Watson from the Nuggets had a grade 2 hamstring injury, and so he's going to be out sometime.
Yeah.
And so you hope to God that it's not that, and you hope that it doesn't get to that. And so if let's say he doesn't play another game until the All-Star break, then the Lakers, they play February 20th. So technically he'd be out 2 full weeks, a little more.
All right, we got a little update from JJ Redick. It's too early to say if it's an injury. He had a sore hamstring. So that's what caused him to leave. So it was the hamstring. It's not just soreness. So whether or not that's just something that just feels tight or sore, that's the hope. We now got to likely get an MRI to see if it's a strain, hoping for the best. Hopefully it's not major. Obviously, he's having one of the stellar years, MVP, one of the MVP favorites, I would say. And then also going to be an all-star game starter. So we want to see him there. So hopefully it is minor. But Mr. Robin to his Batman, Austin Reeves had 35 points tonight in 24 minutes. And we're going to need a lot of that kind of moving forward anyways.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the All-Star game. I feel like some guys are kind of dropping out. I think Anthony Edwards last night said, like, man, he's got some bumps and bruises. He may have to sit this one out. And so I think it's going to be a trend that we're going to just continue to see. I don't think we should ever get too crazy about like All-Star snubs, because there's going to always be a few people that are out. And then those snubs usually get put in. But yeah, Austin Reeves came to play. But yeah, what's that?
Is it turning into the Pro Bowl, Eric?
Was the Pro Bowl on like on the other night?
It was on a Tuesday, Eric.
That's when you know.
I'll tell you. I didn't turn on 1 minute of whatever game that they had. I couldn't even tell you if there was a score or who won or anything that happened in that game.
Yeah, I was sitting there on Sunday ready to watch it, and then I didn't see anything on Sunday apparently. And like as you texted us that it's going to be Tuesday, I said, "Wow, yeah, that's when you know." Knowing the NFL, maybe they still put up numbers. I have no idea. They just whatever product they put out, people watch. Yeah. But I mean, please, you cannot tell me it's watchable right now.
No way.
Yeah.
All right. Wait, before we go.
Anywho,
it's a basketball show, but who you got in the Super Bowl, Eric?
Oh, yes. Jeez. We got I got Seattle 27-19.
Ooh, 27-19. So that's just hitting the over. It was 45.5.
Is it? Okay.
So I chose the Patriots. You knew that from before. Patriots in Seattle.
Gotta roll with it.
And I'm gonna go with the Patriots in the under. So we're looking at a 20-17 game.
Ooh, so go for the win.
If Patriots win, I feel like it's going to be under. If Seattle wins, I feel like it's going to be over. But we'll see.
Yep, should be at least a competitive game there.
Yep. All right, everybody. That wraps up our show tonight on Thursday. We'll be back soon. Great show. Talk to you guys soon. The Hoops Rehab team is out. Peace out, guys.
Peace out, everybody.